Charlotte, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. How was your session today?
It went really well. Yeah, this is my first time with kind of extended time in Dubai. So it's great to be here and be connecting with people. I think it's a particular moment in time, right, as the workforces are changing so rapidly. So it's great to be in the room with people that are wanting to wrestle with these topics and figure out how to springboard into the future together.
Exactly, because no one knows the future right now. It's just rapidly changing, as you're saying. But you're the expert, and you're passing this knowledge through Coursera and the courses, which is widely known. Tell me more about when did you get this idea and about your career.
Yeah. So I spent about 5 years in Asia at different universities in a past life and really loved the work that the universities were doing over there. But I had this big question of how do we scale all those benefits of a university environment? And so joined Coursera about 6.5 years ago, started in the degrees side of our business. And I have to tell you, so when I joined about 2-3 weeks in, I accidentally broke something in our platform. The engineers came to me and they said, Charlotte, just throw your SQL script, your query at it, and have your APIs hit in JavaScript and your Python and terminal. And I was looking at them going, what? What are you talking about? And they said,
Language.
Yeah, if you could do that in the next hour. And I thought, I cannot do that in the next hour. I don't know what any of these things are. And so I went on this big learning curve, and I've now taken 75 Coursera courses.
Wow.
So I completely reskilled myself in the process. And I work with companies now who are trying to figure out similar things, right? Hopefully it's not because their people did something silly like me and broke the system.
No, but that was an amazing, thing that changed what you highlighted the problem,
Yeah.
and how to solve it then.
Yeah.
Because you faced that.
Yeah.
Which is great. Do you think the courses are now the new thing to learn more, to have more knowledge, which is more accessible in a way? I would definitely say university is the base, but we need more knowledge and more accessible knowledge.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting question. So we have about 12,000 courses on the platform. There's university partners, so the likes of Yale, University of London, University of Michigan, and then industry partners, so Google, IBM, so on. And I think what's really valuable about them is that kind of modular aspect of the content. So if I think about my own learning journey, right, I did a bachelor's degree in journalism, so it's fun to sit here with you on a podcast, right? Mom, it was worth it. But my career has changed, the world has changed as well, right? And so if I think about these moments in time in my career where I realized, in order to achieve this next target or goal, I need this skill. How do I fill in the gap? It allows for this kind of career agility. And I think the companies that I'm working with, in my role in customer advocacy, I support our global customers from Bogota to India and everywhere in between. And it's that same question that's coming up all the time right now of our department needs to deliver on this new project or new goal, and our team is maybe here with their skills a lower place than they need to be, and we need to get them 5-10% higher in their skill proficiency to deliver on that target. How do we equip our people to handle all of these changes? And I think sometimes it's that just in time or 4 or 5 week training that can really infuse the workforce to deliver on that next step that can be valuable.
Charlotte, how do you see the AI is playing a role in the education, in knowledge, and because it's now becoming the first source we go to and to get the knowledge, to get the information. And do you think it's gonna take over the Coursera? Let me say that.
Is it going to? I think it already has, right? I knew there was a critical moment with AI saturation when my mom started using ChatGPT the other day.
Exactly. It's maybe emotional connection as well, isn't it?
100%, yeah. Solving problems. And I had a rough layover on my way over here, and I was chatting with it about, how to navigate all the travel disruptions. But I think it's definitely something that's happening. I mean, we're seeing it in kind of two slices, right? Within the Coursera internal space of our own platform. So, as I was learning my own courses, taking the courses on the platform, I think about the likes of an AWS course. So many acronyms and terms that I wasn't familiar with. I wish I had had this coach that we now have. So there's a system that's trained off of all of the content within a course, so that the video transcripts, the readings, the quizzes. So it's almost like an extension of the faculty member. And if you're stuck, you can ask a question to coach and it'll reply. And then what we're seeing is for learners, they're moving through the content faster. They're more likely to pass the quizzes on the first rate. And we're not seeing this kind of cliff of people abandoning the content as much. And so because that was so successful, where we've gone now is you can also do dialogues. So what we've heard from a lot of people is they need this kind of simulation environment for, say, cultivating leadership skills. And they wanted to be able to practice. Maybe you're a new manager and you're struggling with, how do I build these skills? How do I have a difficult conversation? Or how do I do conflict resolution? And it's tough to practice that for the first time with a real human sitting in front of you, right? You need this kind of padded playground. And so these dialogues now are kind of more of a structured conversation to work through, all powered by Gen AI. And what we've heard from people is this kind of simulation environment, it's almost like creating a lot more psychological safety for people, right? There's this trust and security. It reduces the vulnerability of practicing in front of real peers, so that by the time it gets to that real environment, it's a lot better. So I think there's a lot of fear around AI, and I think it's warranted, right? We're seeing the headlines around layoffs and a lot of automation that's happening. That is real. But I also think that there's huge opportunity that can be possible within the education space of how do we personalize learning? How do we really meet people where they're at and give them these kind of customized experiences really rapidly, and leveraging that technology as a benefit instead of just a hindrance?
Yes, definitely. And whenever it passes through your organization, it's fact-checked more, it's more, regulated, and information, because AI, it's just spreading, and sometimes it just give us what we want to hear, not all information are the right information that we are getting from it. So when it's regulated and it's fact-checked through you guys, it's much better to use it as a tool. But you mentioned something about we are sometimes afraid to have the information directly from a person. We'd rather have this machine in front of us to build that trust in us. But do you feel like courses are always related to the person and who is giving them? And we've seen a lot of speakers like you and so many amazing speakers. We feel like, okay, I want to buy his course because that's where I trust. Do you always link the knowledge to the person, and you feel like it's more trustable and gives us that affirmation of success somehow?
100%. Yeah, it's a really interesting question, right? Of how do we learn in this kind of changing environment, and where is the knowledge coming from? I think one thing that's really powerful about Coursera is our partnership ecosystem. So you can learn from Vic Strecker at University of Michigan, or Andrew Ng, our co-founder, who's now at Deep Learning AI, and he's a prolific author making so much content. Or even this morning, Anthropic just announced they're one of our newest industry partners. They've launched 2 courses that are now on my to-do list to take. Right, this is where the source content is coming from. And if I think about net new innovation, I want to learn from Anthropic specifically about how they're seeing Gen AI evolve, what's happening with Claude, what's happening with MCP, which they developed, right, as a concept. These are the areas that I really want to hear from the source, right? And then as a platform, what Coursera can offer is these wraparound services, the likes of Coach, Dialogue. We also have a role play solution. But I think the other layer of it is customization is real, right? People will want to hear from not just the experts, but also their own internal environment and ecosystem. And so one thing we'd heard from people is, they might have liked Module 2 of this Google course and Module 3 of a University of Virginia course, but they didn't want all the other stuff on either side. They just wanted those bits, and maybe a welcome video from the CEO of the company, and then a so what reading with a quiz that had context and the data set from their own company. so that it was fully this kind of unique course experience. And so what we built out is a tool called Course Builder. So you can input in native raw language, right, what you're looking for, and the AI magic happens. My developers would kill me for saying that, right? Much more than just magic, right? It's deep technical work that built out, but it's scraping the full goodness of the catalog and finding the bits, the items within the courses that really hit the nail on the head in terms of the right content for the needs, and then you can customize and adapt for a specific use case. So one of the insurance companies that we worked with, they had a goal to train, I think, 78,000 of their employees in Gen AI, and they realized, okay, we don't need to have our instructional designers making a video on what is prompt engineering. Let's have Andrew Yang explain that to them, right? The guru of AI and ML, right? Let's have that as the opener. But maybe as we think about what this means in the context of our organization, that's where that specialization is really valuable.
Amazing. Charlotte, tell me more about you. Let me know more about you on a personal level. I've seen this beautiful henna on your hat.
I love exploring.
Yeah, we had to travel. So you come from, you said you live in US in...
I'm based in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like how amazing is like that different cultures and the knowledge about each other. And what did you learn from the UAE? I mean, we started with the henna, which is amazing.
I learned that I need to practice my, my sandboarding skills because I was all over it in the dunes on Saturday. But so in my role, I live on a plane a little bit. So I'm on 7 weeks of 9 weeks. This is week 7 of 9 of travel. So I was in Saudi, Paris, Toronto, Mexico City. And I love getting to meet people, and I'm often traveling to meet our local teams across Coursera. Coursera has a globally distributed team, so getting to meet local people, but who know who I am, because I'm a Coursera person, and getting to immerse myself a little bit more in the cultures in the region. I think that's really important, right? As we think about this platform, 190 million learners, it's still... Each of those data points is a person
yes.
whose life could be changed right through this content. And so humanizing this experience a lot more, getting to see where they live, where they're focused, the challenges they might have, and how we can make sure that our content meets them where they're at, whether that's having Arabic language translation, because people should be able to learn in the language that they speak, right?
Of course. And this is honestly a big question, how much the language is getting the best of when it's translated, and how AI in general translating these languages, because you want the language with the meaning of it, not only exact translation. It's just it differs.
Yeah. But I think it's improving, right? It's one of those kind of cost economics questions where even just a couple months ago, it was more pricey to do a translation. And day by day, as the technology increases, the models get better, it's getting more cost efficient. So we're seeing actually a move from just translation to even dubbing as kind of an investment that we're moving toward. To see the lips moving and somebody speaking Arabic and then German and Spanish, right? That's a whole different thing.
But it's good. I would like, I have a podcast. I would love, to dub it if the AI can dub it and still, but can it deliver the same meaning and emotion? That's what we need,
I think it'll get there pretty soon.
Yeah.
Faster than we're realizing. Yes. Get ready. Yeah.
So you think in the future we can customize our own courses and go to the AI directly and have our own, and how much this is helping people to create courses?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's transforming and taking place already, right? If you think about a lot of the tools like Synthesia, where you can just type in text and it has an avatar and it makes the course. We're seeing that happen a lot, where people might make a video and then put it into Course Builder. You can edit it a lot easier as well, because if, say, an instructor makes the initial course and then they leave the organization and you want to update it, what do, right? You can fully re-record everything, or you could use something like a Synthesia tool and edit it directly, and the avatar doesn't join or leave an organization, right? Because it's an avatar. So we're seeing that happen a lot, but I think customization is definitely going to need to happen, right? If you think about, maybe I built that course, if I was that insurance company, I built the course last year on GPT-4. Now we're at 5. We probably need to go back in and update that course, right? Because what the model can do is different now. And so how do we advise people accordingly on the opportunities, the security risks, so much more, right? And so that content freshness is something I think we're seeing is really important now more than ever.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charlotte. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
I tried to take you out of your corporate world, but I couldn't. Ask you about the henna. Did you visit the desert already?
I did. Yes, I've been seeing quite a bit. I went to the dunes, rode a camel, went to Aura Sky Pool and Dubai Miracle Garden, Museum of the Future. So I've been able to see quite a bit while I've been here and really blown away. So I kind of want to stay.
Yes, you have to. It's an amazing weather now.
I know, right? I'm walking around in the evening. Last night I walked around the palm and was just like, oh, this is heavenly. So it's been great to be here.
It's great to talk to you, Charlotte. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. So nice to meet you too.
Thank you.